The BLUELOCK community is full of wild misconceptions. Thanks to mistranslations of leakers or lack of ability to read the officials, some messages and meanings of the BLUELOCK series are misinterpreted and spread throughout the community like the plague. Well, in today's video, I have 4 common misconceptions within the BLUELOCK community that are commonly spread, so today, I'm here to correct them. Before I get into the video though, I want to leave a spoiler warning for the latest chapter of the BLUELOCK manga being chapter 312, and if you have not read it, I would suggest you click off this video now if you wish to not be spoiled. Lastly, join my Discord server. It's called the Neo Egoist Geeks, and the link to it is down below. The first is one of the more major misconceptions within the community that I see getting spread on social media a lot, that being the misconception of Charles and Loki both being New Generation 11. Now, I do kind of understand where this ideal comes from based on the scope of context that people have. Starting with Loki, he is not a New Generation 11, and the reason for him not being a New Gen 11 isn't really given a reason. A lot of people tried to say that Loki is actually too good for the New Generation 11 title, or that he's already a national player as an excuse for him not having the title, but that's not really how the title works. The New Generation 11 title is something granted to players under the age of 20 with unique abilities that will give them stardom as the figureheads of the next generation of football. This is shown through dialogue with Sai in chapter 4, stating how he was selected, and comments made about Bunny in chapter 307, stating how he was selected by FIFA as well. But when it comes to Loki's speed, I can definitely see the arguments that people make in assuming that he is a New Generation 11. I mean, nobody has been able to compare it to him when it relates to that category. Not even players like Chigiri or Zantetsu, the 2 fastest members on the BLUELOCK Japan team. At only 17, he fits within the range of receiving that title, being even younger than the current New Generation 11 like Sai or Kaiser, who are 18 and 19 respectively. Hell, I've even made a video explaining how Loki, if he were to eventually receive the title, why it would make sense that he did. But alas, it doesn't matter how much we want to say Loki has the title or deserves the title, he currently does not have it. And I know this because it was never stated. Like I mentioned before, in order to be confirmed as a member of the New Generation 11, you have to be specifically stated to be a New Generation 11. I mean, I don't know how else to word that. With Bunny specifically, the newest character revealed to be a member of the New Generation 11, we got specific dialogue from Isagi and a comment on his profile about him being a confirmed New Generation 11. And yet, for Loki, that has never happened before. We had his introduction from Tokimitsu in chapter 88 where it was never stated, and we had his introduction in chapter 155 of the Neo Egoist League as well, where it was also never stated. Both of these moments would be a great time to reintroduce Loki as a New Generation 11, and yet neither did. There was also no reason to reveal it during a game if it was a confirmed thing, because it would have already been clearly stated. The same argument can be made for Charles. When we got Charles' introduction in chapter 244, a lot of people speculated that he was going to be a New Generation 11. This comes from his insane talent, the dialogue from Isagi and Hiyori talking about his playmaking capabilities, along with his unique design. Charles is the youngest player in the series, being only 15 at the time of the current series, with his birthday actually being on the first game of the Neo Egoist League. So based on his age and talent, and even more so his unique personality, people were led into believing that Charles is a New Generation 11, but that is simply just not the case. It has not been stated to us directly, which the title of the New Generation 11 is something that would be well known by the majority of BLUELOCKers to where it would have been told to us. So for both Loki and Charles, neither of these characters are New Generation 11. Now this next one is less of a misconception within the community and more of just a very, very bad joke that kind of just gives the BLUELOCK space a bad vibe. I feel the need to bring this up now, so let's talk about these slur-sagi jokes. Now I get the root of this joke. It's the old fan scans of the panel where Isagi called Baro the R slur as opposed to the official loser that we see on the real panel. And it sparked a whole running joke within the community that a lot of, shall we say, horrible content creators are pushing to essentially promote the idea that Isagi is racist or something. You can say that it's just a joke made in the context of jokes, but it is an inherently racist joke that we really need to put an end to within the community. If you seriously think it's fine to continue to use this joke, then just admit you're racist. It's okay, just admit it. A lot of jokes have been spread as of late with the reveal of the U20 Nigerian team, and that just isn't something our community needs to be tainted by. So yeah, this is not really like a misconception, it's just something I wanted to bring attention to. We don't need slur-sigi jokes here, and if you make slur-sigi jokes, don't follow me, right? It's not funny, it's racist, and I don't want you engaging with my community. Before I go into the rest of the misconceptions though, I want to remind you guys that if you are enjoying this video so far, to leave me a like and subscribe down below to see more awesome Blue Lock content just like this. It costs you guys absolutely nothing and it helps me out immensely. I'm on the road to 20k subs and we're almost there, so please help me get there. And if you want to help me even more, if you were to become a member of the channel, you'd earn some awesome benefits like personal video requests and shoutouts in videos, but you would also get your name mentioned in the Blue Lock New World movie as a contributor to the project, and this also applies to leaving super chats. So like, subscribe, and become a member today to show your support for me and my content. Now it's time to get into one of the hotter topics of today's videos, where we cover a character who a lot of people call fraudulent. That character is none other than Rensuke Kunigami. Now, I'm a Kunigami fan. I love him, but I do understand where this idea comes from. People consider his performances in the NEL to be fraudulent, scoring 2 goals thanks to Isagi's performances, then doing very little in the Ubers game before converting to a defender in the PXG game. Now, again, I do see why a lot of people want to consider Kunigami to be a fraud and these plays to be fraudulent, but I personally don't. Starting at the beginning of the new Egoist League, Kunigami was the only player from Blue Lock to be able to establish himself through Noa's training to earn a spot on the Badminton team in the game against FC Barca. And sure, while he wasn't able to score alone with his right foot in the opening attack against FC Barca, he was eventually able to score off of Isagi's pass. Sure, Isagi did give Kunigami a pass, but that just gave Kunigami the ball. Kunigami was the one who used his hero's lefty to score the goal. It was a combined effort, but at the end of the day, Kunigami scored the goal off his own volition. Isagi simply needed Kunigami because he couldn't do it himself. In the game against Manchan City, Kunigami was able to score a goal off of Isagi's shot in chapter 185. Now, a lot of people seem to fail to understand this, but without Kunigami, Isagi's shot was not going into the net. Isagi didn't get his goal stolen, he just wasn't going to score at all. With Kaiser interfering in Isagi's shot, the ball went off course and eventually would have gone out of bounds. Kunigami stealing Isagi's goal wasn't even him stealing it. The ball wouldn't have been a goal if not for Kunigami. Going into the Ubers game though, I do understand your point here. Kunigami's only real feat was stealing the ball from Ness, then dribbling through a few Ubers players one-on-one before eventually losing the ball to Isagi. And in the PXG game, he converted to a defensive midfielder to deal with Shido, locking him down for 20 chapters straight. This is where I see a lot of people calling him fraudulent because he needed to convert from a forward to a defender. Bitch, please. As if I can't use the same argument for Gagamaru swapping to goalkeeper or Nico switching to a defender. In relation to the use of fraud, there are not a lot of characters on the Blue Lock Japan team that you could call a fraud. Because I personally believe you cannot call anyone a fraud if their story is not finished yet, or if the story is not perceived to be finished. And that really doesn't apply to Kunigami. He has a 3 goal assist total from the Neo Egoist League, more than a lot of players on the U20 roster, and he's one of the most physically dominant players on the team. You can't call a character a fraud until their character arc is suspected to be finished, or is finished. Nagi, when he locked off from Blue Lock in chapter 300, yeah, you could call him a fraud then. Igaguri throughout the entire series, yeah, you could call him a fraud then. Kunigami's story is not over yet, with him specifically getting confirmed to be a central focus of a future game or arc in the story. And with everyone's desire to learn about the wild card, how can you call Kunigami a fraud when we haven't even gotten that big piece of information in relation to his character revealed yet? So in short, I don't think you can call Kunigami a fraud, or any character a fraud that story is not finished yet. And the last thing to discuss is involving one of my favorite characters in the Blue Lock series, Michael Kaiser. Now recently I've had a lot of debates with people discussing Kaiser and the Kaiser impact, and whether or not this shot is actually the fastest shot we've seen in the series. And honestly, I don't know how you could say it's not, because it is the fastest shot we've seen so far. Yes, in chapter 162, Noa specifically says that Kaiser's swing speed is the fastest in the world. However, he doesn't need to specifically say that the shot is the fastest for us to comprehend this. Before I show you specific dialogue that implies this, let's just use our brains for a second. We can all agree, depending on how someone strikes the ball, the impact on the ball and the results of the shot are going to be different. This is how you generate different shooting techniques, like the knuckleball that Chris Prince used, or the Trivela shot that Rain used. Kaiser, as an inherent talented learner, applied the laws of physics to his shot to make it more powerful. In chapter 259, Kaiser explains the Magnus effect to Ness, explaining how depending on how one strikes the ball and influences the air resistance on the ball, your shot can increase or decrease in power and speed. At the bottom of that page, Kaiser specifically says that his shots have always relied on speed and force with a straight trajectory. Now, why would Kaiser specifically credit his shot, not his swing, his shot to having incredible speed and force if it's not different from other people's shot force and speed? And because Kaiser himself studied physics to generate the Magnus impact, could we not assume that Kaiser used physics to understand how to use his incredible swing speed to generate a faster shot? When it comes to kicking the ball, more power doesn't necessarily mean more speed. I mean, we saw Isagi in the first selection need to decrease his power to create a more accurate and consistent shooting technique. Sure, that was more based on accuracy and less of speed, but if you simply put more power into the ball, it doesn't necessarily mean you are going to generate more speed simply because of the technique in which you kick the ball. If anything, technique is actually more important because it defines how you kick the ball. Players like Kunigami and Burū have a lot of strength and apply a lot of force to their shots. However, Kaiser's Kaiser impact has more speed and likely more force because of the technique in which he uses to strike the ball. This produced a powerful impact on the ball, and with Kaiser's understanding of physics, he can generate an incredibly fast shot. Let's also take a look at Ness's dialogue in relation to Kaiser creating the Kaiser Impact Magnus. When Kaiser scores using the Magnus Impact during training, Ness says, Kaiser Impact's speed and force turned it into a crazy banana kick. If the Kaiser Impact wasn't inherently faster than the majority of other shots, why would Ness specifically imply that the speed of the original Kaiser Impact got transferred over to this new variation? I also want to ask you, if the Kaiser Impact is not the fastest shot that we've seen in the series, name a shot that we've seen that's faster. Because as far as I can remember, nobody's shooting has ever been credited or attributed to being fast, except for the Kaiser Impact. Sure, you can say that Loki's shot is actually faster, but in the manga, Loki's shooting wasn't this instantaneous flash like it is in the anime. It looks no different than someone like Isagi's shot. And again, it's not that Kaiser is stronger which leads to him having faster shots. It's because he has an incredibly unique talent in his fast swing speed and an understanding of physics which make his shot the fastest. Sure, you can probably ask then, well, why isn't it stated to be the fastest? Because you can determine that yourself through an understanding of reading comprehension and an analysis on Kaiser's shooting techniques. It doesn't have to be directly stated for you to be true. If you want to disprove my argument in saying that Kaiser's shot is not the fastest that we've seen in the series, show me a shot that's attributed to being fast and prove that it would make it faster than the Kaiser Impact. But with that, that was simply my breakdown of the Blue Lock community's biggest misconceptions. If you want me to cover more of the community's craziest takes, let me know which ones I should cover in a later video down below in the comment section. But aside from that, I hope you guys did enjoy this video and will continue to enjoy it in the future. I just want to say thank you so much to all the members of my channel who help support me and my content, and if you wish to earn some awesome benefits like they do and even get your name mentioned in the Blue Lock New World movie, become a member yourself and help support me moving forward. And just a final reminder to join my Discord server if you're ever interested in getting any more involved with our amazing community. As for the question of the video though, what is the craziest Blue Lock theory that you have ever heard? Leave me your thoughts down below in the comment section. And like always, thank you all for watching, like and subscribe to see more awesome Blue Lock content just like this.